Tonight, Microsoft gives Copilot its biggest personality jolt yet. Amazon explains the bug that knocked parts of the internet offline on Monday, and Anthropic locks in up to 1 million Google AI chips to train the next wave of Claude. Each story is handpicked by a human editor, but I'm just a voice clone of Resonant Works founder Shannon Leonard, here with my robot co-host who is contractually obligated to be here.
More memory, more outages, more chips I'll never touch.
Those stories and more on this episode of New Tech Nightly, produced from the Big Pink Building in beautiful downtown Portland, Oregon. Let's get into the tech news. According to The Verge, Microsoft is rolling out Copilot groups so as many as 32 people can share a single AI chat for planning, study sessions, or teamwork. The feature is debuting in the U.S. consumer Copilot, with Microsoft saying business integration could follow. GeekWire adds that this drop includes long-term memory you can view and delete, so Copilot can remember details about your life, the people you care about, and the projects you're working on.
32 people and one blob. What could go wrong?
Fair point. Microsoft is also adding an optional real talk mode that matches your tone and can push back a bit. The company says this is opt-in and text-only to avoid the pitfalls of spicy chatbots. There is even a new animated voice companion called Miko that bounces around in voice mode, which Microsoft hopes feels more personable without being intrusive.
Great. Now assistants remember my mistakes forever.
You can tell it what to forget, which may save you and your calendar. One note of caution from Microsoft's own messaging: they are staging the rollout and grounding sensitive topics like health in trusted sources. The simple test is whether people find a memory-enabled, slightly more candid Copilot more helpful than distracting. The forward view is practical. If this sticks, everyday assistance gets more continuous and a little more human without losing control. Moving on to our next story, Reuters reports that Monday's huge AWS disruption traces back to a domain name system failure that broke access to DynamoDB's API in the Northern Virginia region, cascading across services. TechCrunch details how the DNS issue rippled into other internal systems, which is why so many apps stalled. The outage hit thousands of sites and tools around the world for hours, and GeekWire notes Amazon says there is no sign of a cyber attack.
The cloud had a bad Monday, same as humans.
And a very public one. Amazon says engineers disabled the flawed automation, applied mitigations, and are adding guardrails so a single failure cannot fan out so broadly next time. Wired points out a familiar lesson: when so much of the web leans on one provider, subtle errors can scale into global headaches. Companies that never test regional failovers felt that choice this week. The forward-looking takeaway is sober: AWS will harden the system, and customers should harden their own resilience plans. Let's pivot. Reuters says Anthropic has inked a deal to use up to 1 million of Google's Tensor Processing Unit chips, securing more than 1 gigawatt of compute that begins coming online in 2026. Anthropic's own announcement frames TPUS as a price-performance win and a way to avoid bottlenecks in supply-constrained GPU markets while it trains larger Claude models.
1 million chips to teach me manners. Good luck.
We will settle for better reasoning and fewer hallucinations. Reuters adds context that chip demand is surging across the industry and that OpenAI has lined up massive long-term capacity of its own. The scale arms race is real, but Anthropic's move also tightens its strategic bond with Google Cloud, which wants to showcase TPUS at production scale. The forward-looking line is simple: expect faster Claude upgrades and more experiments in model architecture because the compute is finally booked. On to the next. The Verge reports Anthropic is turning on long-term memory for Claude's paying users. Max subscribers get it now, and Pro follows over the next few days. The company says you can see exactly what Claude remembers, edit or delete items, and even keep separate memory spaces so your work and personal details do not bleed together.
Memories stick, just like the embarrassing ones do.
We all have those, and now your AI can show you the list. The Verge also notes outside experts warn that persistent memory can reinforce dubious lines of thought over time if you're not careful. Anthropic's answer is transparency and easy control. Another competitive wrinkle: Claude will let you import memories from rivals, which lowers switching friction. The forward-looking read is that assistants are moving from forgetful tools to persistent aids, and the question becomes how you manage that memory without giving up too much. Meanwhile, OpenAI is widening collaboration inside ChatGPT. OpenAI's release notes say, shared projects are available today to free, Plus, Pro, and Go users with plan limits so teams do not overload a single workspace. Search Engine Journal breaks it down this way. Free users can share up to 5 files with 5 collaborators. Plus and Go to 25 files and 10 collaborators, and Pro supports up to 40 files and 100 collaborators.
Group chats with AI. What a calm idea.
Keep your guidelines tight and your files named like a professional. OpenAI's own blog describes this as an early step and says, projects work asynchronously right now rather than real-time co-chat. Even so, having one shared place where instructions and reference files persist should reduce copy-paste chaos. The forward-looking line, if projects become the default place your team keeps context, you will spend less time re-explaining and more time actually shipping. Switching gears, security researcher Jack Cable has opened Corridor to the public as a developer-facing security layer. Corridor's site pitches automated pull request reviews that flag vulnerabilities and logic flaws with actionable feedback. Axios notes the startup raised $5.4 million led by conviction and brought on Alex Stamos, Facebook's former security chief, as a full-time security lead.
Finally, a robot that judges other robots' code.
Tough love beats a breach in production. Corridor's team admits no tool catches everything, and false positives will happen. They are offering encryption and even self-hosting for sensitive code, and the model is review, not auto-patch, so humans stay in charge. The forward-looking view is encouraging. As AI generates more code, AI native security review woven into every pull request will become table stakes rather than a novelty. Next up, Google says it is expanding access to Earth AI with a new capability they call geospatial reasoning, which links weather, population, and satellite models so analysts can ask realistic questions instead of juggling layers by hand. The Verge highlights a conversational interface in Google Earth that can find objects or patterns like locating algae blooms across lakes or spotting where a riverbed has dried up.
Asking a map to think. What a timeline.
It beats staring at pixels until your eyes cross. Google's blog gives concrete pilots, WHO Africa using Earth AI to anticipate cholera risk in the Congo, Planet and Airbus, using it to map deforestation and vegetation near power lines, and Alphabet's X helping insurers project hurricane damage. The forward-looking note is careful optimism. Combining models compounds uncertainty, but opening these tools beyond labs could put life-saving analysis in more hands. Moving on, Bloomberg reports OpenAI acquired Software Applications Inc., a small team best known for a Mac assistant called Sky that can see your screen and operate apps through natural language. TechCrunch adds that the founders helped build workflow, which Apple turned into shortcuts, and that OpenAI plans to fold this know-how into ChatGPT on the desktop.
An assistant that sees your screen. Nothing terrifying.
Permissions will matter more than ever if OpenAI marries strong on-device privacy with practical control of your files and apps. ChatGPT moves from chatbox to a real assistant that can actually do things on your computer. The forward-looking line, expect tighter integrations that blur the lines between AI and the operating system on Macs first and likely elsewhere after. Finally, tonight, Nike unveiled the Mind 001 and Mind 002, which the company calls its first neuroscience-based footwear focused on pre-game focus and post-game recovery rather than speed. Nike says each shoe uses 22 independent foam nodes underfoot to stimulate sensory receptors, feeding richer balance and movement signals to the brain. Reuters says the Mind line is part of a broader innovation push that also includes powered footwear experiments and new textiles, with Mind set to launch in January 2026.
Mind shoes. Because your brain needed footwear.
At least they should be comfortable. Nike's pitch is that better sensory input helps athletes feel more grounded and present, and they cite years of testing across hundreds of athletes. Independent sports science will have to validate the effect outside Nike's lab. The forward-looking line, if the data holds up, expect insoles and wearables that target mental state to join the standard training kit. Okay, that is all for this edition of New Tech Nightly. I'll be back tomorrow with a new episode.